Did I ever tell you? I know I've never told you. I've never told you about. So you got recruited by Jimmy Martelli, right?
No,
Did I ever tell you what he said about going to see you play when he came back from the first time seeing you play?
no.
Oh my God. His description of going to see you play is like gold. So he drove apparently to a night game
Mm.
to see you play for the first time. And he comes back, he's like, you guys, I thought I was going to be murdered like in Deliverance. I drove for like 2 hours in the dark. And then all of a sudden, there's these bright lights, and it's the parking lot of the high school, and I'm in the right place. He's like, but I didn't
Yeah.
see street lights for days, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, and I go in there, and there's this guy, and he's like just dunking on people's heads. He's just like raw, and like we have to get him. He's just raw, and like and just the way he described going to see you in the middle of nowhere. He's like, I didn't see lights for hours, and then boom, there's a lit parking lot of like the game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that country living, man.
Yeah. It was just really funny when he came back, but he was pumped when he came back from seeing you play. I remember like weird little quirky stories of that from like a few athletes per season. And you were one of the ones I remember because you came in with a big class. I remember too.
Yeah, the 2007 class, or the 2011 class, we had ended up coming in with 10.
Yeah.
And then we finished with 7. So.
Yeah. That's still pretty good statistics, because I think when I think about, man, was it Justin Shorts here? I think they came in with a huge number 2 and ended up with like 2 guys. That happens though. I mean, it's a being an athlete in college is not easy. Being an athlete playing for Mike Rhodes is not easy. Being an athlete like at Randolph-Macon, it's like, what's the saying? It's like easy to get in and hard to stay in. Like that's very true. I think people find that they have no time management skills all of a sudden, then it's too late.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's not easy. It's easy to get weeded out, and it's different from high school sports. So
exactly, because a lot of times you're coming, like if you're in high school, you're like the top dog. You're like either number 1 or number 2, typically coming from high school. And then it's like you're starting over. For most people, you're starting over, and you have to work your way back up into this position. And I don't want to say a lot of people couldn't cut it, but it's a thing where it's like they make a decision. Like, do I want to be on the team? Do I want to do this athletics? Do I want to have this, or do I want to use my time wisely somewhere else? And that decision is different for different people. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. I like that way of phrasing it too. It's just like, it's not a fit because like for everybody, because also like priorities are different. And like, we're going D3, right? We're not trying to go pro. Like we are doing this because we love it. We're doing this because, we value this particular aspect of these 4 years, but you don't have to value those things, right? You could value other things, and that's fine too. But I definitely think one of the things I noticed also going from high school to college sports, in high school, if you are the top dog, you get so much attention from your coach, and you're nurtured and you're groomed. And like when you have rough times, they're understanding, but like college coaches very much expect you to be the boss of yourself. Like you are responsible for to motivate yourself, to get where you need to be. They are not going to hold your hand. Like maybe the high school coaches who were so happy to have like a stud like you were, they would have held your hand to keep you eligible. And like, that's not the case in college most of the time. Like, and you have to learn that you have to be very, personally responsible for the first time, probably in your life.
Yeah.
For most people. So I think that also weeds people out.
So what do you typically eat when you drink wine?
Ooh, that's a good question. I do try to do like basic pairings. There's some like general rules I learned to follow. So, white sauces, white wine with fish. The beauty of champagne and sparkling wines, they go with anything, especially like barbecue, fried chicken. I have a friend who I like to get together with, and we get KFC and champagne. It's just like our very basic ditch kind of thing. It's really fun. So I highly recommend that. One time, buy like, $25 bottle of champagne, go get some KFC, and you've got like a nice dinner.
Can I get Popeyes instead?
That's perfect. We don't have Popeyes here. I would definitely pick Popeyes over KFC, but they have KFC in the Netherlands. So
yeah.
So but I also try like if I'm having like Italian with like a kind of a lighter red sauce, like just regular spaghetti sauce, I stick with the lighter red, so like a Pinot Noir or something.
Okay.
But with meats, I'll definitely go heavier. So that's where like the Syrahs come out and like the Cabernet Sauvignons. I just keep with the basic rules.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't necessarily. I really like when you post what you're cooking. By the way, like some of the recipes you're following, because I did not cook really much pre-pandemic, even pre-moving to Europe.
Yeah.
But I had to kind of learn to cook moving to Europe because it's more expensive. And during the pandemic, I mean, I started cooking every day. All my delivery, I kind of had made also a resolution last year that I would eat a little more local if I could, because the Netherlands is one of the biggest farming countries in the world. So there's no reason that I can't get everything I need from like within 5 kilometers of here.
Right.
And I buy like a box of farm vegetables every week that are picked for me. Like I don't get to pick them, but it's like $25, and it's most of my meals for the week with fresh veggies. So and I also get a meat, a chicken, and a fish. But they pick them, but still it's like good deal. And I have to cook. Yeah. And so I've gotten better with cooking, so now I can try the wine pairing stuff a little bit more.
There you go. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest cook either. I really started getting into it. You're right. So it started with just watching stuff online on YouTube. I was like, I'm a big guy where like if I see something, I'm like, I can do that. That seems okay, and I can do this, right? It seems fun. So I started doing that. But then when the pandemic hit, it was like, all right, you can't go out to eat anymore. You can't, like, your food is here, buddy. You have to make it. So once that happened, I was like, oh, well, let's just try some stuff. So wings were like big for me. I was also doing like low carb stuff. So like, chicken and fish, salmon specifically.
I love salmon. My dad used to cook salmon, and like a really good marinade, and just in the on the grill, both sides, you're done. Yeah. Like it's so nice.
Skin on or skin off?
I leave skin on.
Yeah, nice crispy skin. Come on, man, you can't beat it.
I know, it's really good. I mean, the Netherlands here, fortunately, we're really close to water, so we have really good fish. So there's no reason not to get good fish here.
That's so clutch. That's one thing I miss about being like home back on the Eastern Shore.
On the shore,
always having like seafood available. But we make it work. We make it work.
And I started out with like, the chemistry winemaking course really had no chemistry. Like
but it was a great wine tasting course.
But I learned so much. I can tell you though, my mom went to Australia with us for the wine course.
Yeah.
So not only did they pay for it, they benefited.
That's nice.
I know my mom, since I was a little kid, my mom had dreamed of going to Australia. She had a shelf, or like more like a full bookcase of kangaroos. She used to collect them. Nice. And so I felt so bad going to her and being like, can I have a lot of money to go to Australia and drink wine without you? Like I couldn't do it. So I remember going to her, and she was always really upset. My brother never studied abroad, and she hated it. The parents would get this list of all of the study abroad, and my mom would read it and be like, oh my God, you could take geometry in Egypt. Like, it didn't start there. Why wouldn't you do this? Like, she was so upset that somebody would pass on an opportunity that she never had. And my brother would, I kid you not, would be like, Mom, it is intramural basketball season. My team needs me, and we might win the B-League championship. I am best. My brother was a point guard. He was not, where I'm from, people are short, slow, and white, and that included my brother. So his basketball knowledge on point. He has great basketball sense, pretty good passer. Yeah. He's short, slow, and white. So it was never going to happen for him at the college level. But intramurals, he was a stud.
Yeah.
So he would never go.
A lot of battles happen in intramurals, man.
I know. The drama around Reynolds making intramural basketball ran deep, for sure.
That's a documentary waiting to happen.
100%. 100%. And so my brother would never dare miss a month of intramurals, and my mom was devastated. So when I was going to go to her and be like, I want to go to Australia, she's like, oh, I'm so excited. And I just asked her, I was like, do you want me to see if you can go? Because I don't feel right about this.
Yeah.
It's like, well, as long as I don't cramp your style. And, the professor's like, if your mom pays what a student pays, we're happy to have her. And so my mom went to Australia with us.
That's dope, man. That's so fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's so fun. I wish I could have gone abroad. I mean, but we did eventually get to go. So we got to go to Chile. We got to go to Chile the following season. Yep. So, and they had a lot of beaches out there. I just wish that I had the love of wine I have now back then. Because like back then, it's like, oh man, like I'm 19 years old in South America drinking legally, right? So like,
Chile, man, Chile's also super up and coming, I think, in wine. Like Chile and Argentina, I don't think like, I remember learning in the class that they had great wines and they're just so incredibly inexpensive. It's like they don't know what they have or something, you know? And so I love like going to get new Chilean and Argentinian wines because they just like, they're always pretty good. And I think even during the pandemic, I would go to this real cheap shop called Lidl. And Lidl would have these like 2-3 euro.
Shout out to Lidl, man. Come on, man. Yeah. Love Lidl.
We have Lidl. Yeah. So Lidl had these like 2 and 3 euro wines and they tended to be Chilean and Argentinian and they were always so good. I stocked up on those during the pandemic for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. But I mean, it's awesome that you got to go to like Australia because so Australia was one of those countries I'm like, yeah, I would love to go there. I would love to go to Japan. That's another one. That's my number one, actually. Japan is my number one. Australia. The thing about Australia is every other week, there's like this picture of like some ridiculous like animal / creature / bug.
It rains spiders. Like, no, I'm done.
Like, I'm like, wait, why is that spider this big? It shouldn't be that big.
I mean, I can tell you. So I told you we couldn't do this yesterday because I was babysitting for my best friends here. They're an Australian couple, and they are so. I mean, there was a spider in their house the other day that was, as big as like the diameter of my wine glass, and I've never seen a spider like that in the Netherlands. I thought I left countries that had those. So I was like, I'm out. Get rid of it, and I'm not babysitting anymore. I can't do this. Like that's gonna eat your baby.
Yeah.
Night. And like they just caught it in their hands and they're playing with it and took it outside. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? And they're like, well, we're from Australia, so we've definitely played with much worse. I was like,
exactly.
You people are crazy.
I've seen way too many Pokemon running through Australia. I don't have no time for that.
Yep.
And then the kangaroos are built like jacked.
They're pets.
Bruh, it's ridiculous.
And they're in the suburbs. They're not like in the wild. They're like running down Karens on the sidewalk with their strollers.
Just chilling. I'm like, hey, listen, bro. I don't want to run up on him in a dark alley. Now he's like, yo, give me your money. Like, yes, take the money. I don't care.
Yeah. And like they name it like affection, like, oh, that's just Steven. No, it is not. No. That is
Steven looks like he did a bid in jail.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in a kangaroo suit.
Yes. I'm not trying to get kicked in the chest by Kangaroo Jack over here.
That's the irony of them being so strong up top. They're going to stand on their tail and kick you with their feet like you won't see it coming.
And you will go flying.
Yeah.
I'm not. Nah. love Australia. You got some Australia friends out there. Love them, but like, bro.
I think if you got to stick to like I imagine the thing is like stick to Sydney, stick to Melbourne, go to New Zealand to like, see Lord of the Rings, stick to like the places that are well known where like animals don't dare go. If you're going out in like the bush, my friend called like, oh, she married out in the bush. Like I have to remember that that's like the desert / nature. Don't go to the bush. And then.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to the bush.
But sometimes they like show these like, oh, well, it's just like spider mating season and the whole neighborhood is a lair of spiders. It's like, how do you function? This is the year of the cicada. And I remember the year of the cicada when I was in high school where I lived. And like, you're walking down the street and they're hitting you in the face. And that's only like once every 17 years.
Yeah.
You're telling me every year the spiders coat the town? No, absolutely not.
I'm cool, bro. Like I don't need that type of energy in my life at all.
Right.
So
right. Who does?
I'm cool.